Hello, great people. There's a video making the rounds of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu allegedly snubbing Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu during the commissioning of the 30-kilometer Section 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. In a moment, I'll leave you to watch the video of what transpired between the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Then when we come back, we'll be dissecting the issues. How do we interpret Tinubu's reaction to Babajide Sanwo-Olu? Did he snub or embarrass or humiliate or disgrace Babajide Sanwo-Olu, as some people have been saying in the public domain? And we will be dissecting. If that is the case, what could be the sins of Sanwo-Olu? How is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president, likely to undo Babajide Sanwo-Olu? How has Bola Ahmed Tinubu undo those he disagrees with in the past? And what is the likely consequence for Babajide Sanwo-Olu? And what are the implications socially and politically for Bola Ahmed Tinubu if he decides to act either way on the case of Babajide Sanwo-Olu? We'll be dissecting all this and a whole lot more on this episode with your show plug, Dr. Omosholade. But first, let us go and watch the video of what transpired between Tinubu and Sanwo-Olu. Then we come back for some great discussion. Let's watch it. There you have it. You just watched the video of what transpired between the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Some people are saying that this is a pure case of embarrassment because you were greeting other dignitaries, and when it got to the turn of Babajide Sanwo-Olu, you looked him eyeball to eyeball and you just walk past. And if you look at the countenance of Babajide Sanwo-Olu in that particular video, he was willing, he was eager to greet Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But we'll come to that in a moment. Let me address people that are saying that, oh, the president did not snub him. You know, politicians in Nigeria, apologies, are very crazy set of people. They rationalize the irrationalizable in the sense that some people are saying that, well, it is not snubbing. It is because he has been seeing Sanwo-Olu all day. That's why he didn't greet him. Is that an excuse? You know, how do people reason in such an irrational manner? So let's assume that they even board the same plane and Sanwo-Olu had come out of the plane. You know that if a president is, if he wants to board a plane or if he is disembarking from the plane, you will see the dignitaries or his aides line up to either, bid him goodbye or try to welcome him. Even in that circumstance, if they were in the same plane and Sanwo-Olu came down before Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it is of presidential protocol that if you get to the turn of Sanwo-Olu, you cannot just ignore him. Definitely, there are some sins that are working against Sanwo-Olu, which we will be dissecting in a moment, and I have some kind of like interesting perspectives for you. Now, if you now get to the turn of Sanwo-Olu, as we just saw in that particular video, how will you just leave him like that? So I think that if Nigerian politicians are calling white black, at least they are doing it because they have something to gain. How about the Nigerian citizens that have nothing to gain and they will join them in calling white black? For you to know what I'm saying, that politicians are good at deception, let us branch into something very quickly, which is the picture that you can see on your screen, which is that the Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, is the same Minister of Finance since Tinubu got to power. And look at him speaking from both sides of the mouth. He says that Nigeria can't rely on borrowing. Minister of Finance, Wale Edun. Another headline says, Nigeria needs more borrowing. Finance Minister, Edun. Another headline says, Nigeria must stop borrowing to fund budget. Minister, the same minister. Another headline says, why federal government is borrowing, by Edun and Bagudu, FIRS boss. So you can see one person, same government, just within a little duration, see the way they are twisting things. See, so if you happen to be a fan of Wale Edun, that's how it will be confusing your brain. And that's why I've always told Nigerians that get educated, get politically enlightened, because if you are to rely on what is coming out of the mouth of politicians, definitely you will be finished before the word finished itself. So now let us go back to the issue of Tinubu and Sanwo-Olu. Well, as I said earlier, I think Bola Ahmed Tinubu should have acted maturely. to me, the action of the president is not matured in this regard, in the sense that Sanwo-Olu is your political boy. So even if you are displeased with him, and I'll go into the likely sins of Sanwo-Olu in a moment, even if you are displeased with him, you shouldn't show it to the public. You should know that you, as the president in a public space, all the cameras will be there will be all eyes on you. Definitely you shouldn't be kind of like behaving in such a manner. It is not by behaving like that that you will show that you are displeased with Sanwo-Olu. At the end of the day, you may want to embarrass Sanwo-Olu, but at the end of the day, you will end up embarrassing yourself, because from this particular video, I think that Bola Ahmed Tinubu embarrassed himself in the process of trying to embarrass Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Now, let us go to the likely sins of Sanwo-Olu. What could be the grievance of Bola Ahmed Tinubu against the governor of Lagos State, who he apparently single-handedly installed as governor? Now, what are the likely sins of Sanwo-Olu? One is the removal, or the complicit in the removal, of Mudashiru Obasa. You will recall that the Lagos State Speaker was removed and he was reinstated back on the order of the president. And the president, according to media reports, was able to point to the hand of Babajide Sanwo-Olu in the orchestrated removal of Mudashiru Obasa. And Mudashiru Obasa for so many years has been Bola Ahmed Tinubu's tool in checkmating governors in Lagos State. Tinubu so much believe in Obasa, and he believed that if Obasa is the speaker, definitely, he still has a strong grip on Lagos State. But then they allegedly removed Obasa without the president's knowledge. So the president was like, what kind of coup is this against my political empire in Lagos State? So the president reportedly didn't take it lightly. So that may be the sin that is affecting Babajide Sanwo-Olu. But it is not only that. There are three sins that I was able to kind of like point to. The second one is the media report that Babajide Sanwo-Olu allegedly gave money to the opposition. You will recall that Bola Ahmed Tinubu lost the presidential election in Lagos State. So out of panic, and that Babajide Sanwo-Olu did not want to lose the election, so he had to make some compromise, and some funds were allegedly channeled to the people in the opposition. Maybe Sanwo-Olu was trying to kind of like make some compromise, and Bola Ahmed Tinubu wasn't aware. This didn't go down well with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But then again, let us look at it that, well, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu made you a governor, then it is expected that if you want to take such decision, definitely you should at least communicate with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That is, you can argue that, fine. But then again, Bola Ahmed Tinubu too has apparently made such compromise in the past. You will recall that when Goodluck Jonathan was to contest as president in 2011, there were reports that Tinubu allegedly met Jonathan and they were able to reach a compromise. And that was allegedly the reason why the Tinubu boys in that year were not aggressive during the presidential election. Sanwo-Olu is the governor. Nobody will be the governor of Lagos State with all the benefit and the high premium that we place on politics in Nigeria, where power is like an oxygen in nostril. If you hold political power, you can do and undo, and that person will just want to lose his office like that. Definitely, he will want to hustle for himself that, oh, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is already the president-elect. If I'm not careful, if the vote of Lagos State goes the same way, then I will be out of power. So he will naturally want to hustle for himself. But channeling some funds allegedly to the opposition didn't go down well with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The third likely sin of the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is the case of Aisha Ashimu. Aisha Ashimu is reported to be a close ally of the Lagos State governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. And I've read in the media report, I think People's Gazette, that Tinubu himself was allegedly surprised that Sanwo-Olu was so close to that particular woman, that they were very intimate. And some are writing that she is one of the people that allegedly launders money for the Lagos State governor. So the case of Aisha Ashimu, who is under prosecution by the EFCC, is also there. So maybe some revelations go to the president in terms of corruption, in terms of illicit act as a married woman, maybe in terms of other issues that pertains to Aisha Ashimu. Maybe the president is disappointed that you Sanwo-Olu, you mean you can be playing all these kind of games. Maybe that's one of the reasons that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is angry with Sanwo-Olu. So most likely it will be one of these three sins, in quotes, that I have listed. But then Tinubu deals with people he disagrees with. And the fact speaks for itself. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if he disagrees with you, and unless you are bigger than him, that's when he won't kind of like be able to deal with you. And I will give you an example of people that are bigger than Bola Ahmed Tinubu and people that he is bigger than. And now he has dealt with such people. And one of them is Kofo Bokno Akerele, his deputy when he was governor of Lagos State. When he fell out of line with Kofo Bokno Akerele, definitely Kofo was removed as deputy governor by the Lagos State House of Assembly. Same for Femi Pedro, who he suffered the same fate as well. And also Akinwumi Ambode, the former governor of Lagos State, who Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his political boys denied a second term. Now, let us look at those that have offended Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but Bola Ahmed Tinubu couldn't do anything to them. People that he disagrees with. Number one is Obasanjo. You will recall that throughout Obasanjo's tenure as president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu didn't abuse Obasanjo. It was when he left office that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was not abusing him. I've watched videos where he called him expired milk. But when Obasanjo was president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not dare abuse him in any manner whatsoever. Another one is Muhammadu Buhari. When Buhari was the president in his first term, and he didn't give Bola Ahmed Tinubu so much access to kind of like flex his political muscles and all that. Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not go against Muhammadu Buhari because he knows that Buhari, as at that time as president, is bigger than him. So Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if he disagrees with you, if you are lesser than him, he will deal with you. Except if you are bigger than him, then he can wait for the right time to have his pound of flesh. And let us be sincere with ourselves. There's nothing Sanwo-Olu can do. Tinubu will remove him if he so wish. Tinubu will remove Sanwo-Olu if he so desires. And that is why I pity Babajide Sanwo-Olu, because if he wants, Obasa is willing to kind of like superintend over the removal of Sanwo-Olu, even if Sanwo-Olu is popular. Even if it's popular, the kind of political system that we practice, the Tinubu boys can create a crisis in Lagos State. Before you know it, the president will just declare a state of emergency. And that is why it is not good to set bad precedents. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode with your sure plug, Dr. Omosoladeji. Subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.